Excuses are monuments of nothing that builds bridges to nowhere. And those who use those tools of incompetence are masters of nothing.
The person you just listened to is George Holmes III. He has 20 plus years experience in the car sales field, both as a sales consultant and as sales manager. He has seen men and women come in and out of his business as well as rise and fall. Even after decades in the field, his passion for his career continues today as it did when he first started. This is his perspective of the business. This is his consultation to your career. This is 21st Century Car Sales.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to 21st Century opening up doors to car selling. My name is George Holmes III. I'm here to set the record straight. In my 23 years in this business, 21 and a half been on the management level. It's a lot of road to the sales steps that I've been acquainted with. And I need to add two. I'll add one because one of them is already there. But the biggest step to me in the road to the sale is being on time. Being on time. How in the world can you sell anybody being late? How in the world can you make a living being late? Being late is not an option in 21st century sales. They say they want to get the robots involved. They say one day we'll have robots serving customers. Let's don't escalate that, guys. Let's don't help that come quicker than it's possibly coming. Because being on time don't require no effort. It requires you saying to your nightlife, I'm done. I got a job in the morning. That's what being on time means. Goodbye nightlife. I got to go to sleep. My job is more important than my nightlife. How much is your nightlife paying you versus the dealer paying you? How much? How much are you getting in the nightlife? Or do you need your day life to get your nightlife on? Stop wasting a dealer's time not being on time. It's a lot of time and effort that goes into processing you. I mean, I'd rather you be up front and tell me, Mr. Holmes, I'm never on time. No problem. You don't work here. Part of the requirements for working for Mr. Holmes is that you be on time. On time. That resolves and solves everything with me. I mean, think about it. Think about one thing that in your life that you really wanted and you missed it because you wasn't on time. You're not going to miss the money and on my time not being on time. Be on time. Step one. You walk in the door ready to go on time. Not walking through the door, tying your tie up. You got to look the part. 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes before time, getting yourself together, presentable, ready to do business. This is what being on time is. Being on time is not here, oh, wait a minute, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Oh, I need a shot of coffee before I get started. Have all of that before 8:30 or whatever time you're supposed to be there starts. So when the clock strikes, it's time to go. It's time to be service ready. Service ready. That's what we are. We are servicing the customers and we have to be ready. Being on time. Not waiting on somebody to come get you on and calling at 8:30 and say, hey, I can't be there. We know situations, problems come, but a problem probably came 2 hours before you called me. Called in so we can make arrangements that you could be on time. Promotions come to those that are on time. Promotions don't come to those that's not on time. So if you ever want to promote yourself in this business, be on time. That's without saying, a dealer has to depend on you being on time. On time, step one. If you can't do that, don't even apply for this job. That's 21st century selling. Next is attitude. Don't cost you nothing to have a great attitude. Don't cost you nothing at all to have a great attitude. You choose to not have a great attitude. Attitude is a choice. It's a choice. You either gonna have a good attitude or you're gonna have a bad attitude. If you got a bad attitude, don't even show up. I'd rather you call in and say, hey, I got a bad attitude, and I'm gonna tell you, find another job. If you don't have an attitude, if you can't make up to $100,000 a year with a great attitude, something is wrong with you. You have missed the mark. And I'm not going to miss the mark with you because I am looking for, in an interview, a smiling atmosphere. I'm looking for a delightful person that has a great attitude, ready to service customers. Ready to service. We are at service to these customers. But we can't be of great service if we got a bad attitude. Things happen. Things happen at night. Things happen early in the morning. Your spouse and you get into it. The kids are not acting right. The dog ran away. I can go on and on and on with excuses. Excuses are monuments of nothing that builds bridges to nowhere. And those who use those tools of incompetence are masters of nothing. That's what excuses are. Bad attitude people, keep them out of the dealership. You're going to know right off the bat when you got a bad attitude person. Ask them a question. So what happened at your last dealership? Oh, my manager. Okay, so give me one instance where the manager was bad. So when y'all do that little role play you do in the interview, and he said, well, he stayed on top of you. Can you tell me why he stayed on top of you? Tell the truth. You wasn't on time. You had a bad attitude. Tell the truth. If you're going to come in and apply for a job, tell a person, my attitude ain't bad. Thank you for applying. See you later. Tell them before they get involved in you blowing out their customers. Being a person that you cringe when you see him take a customer because he had a bad attitude in front of you. What's going to make his attitude great in front of your customer? Nothing. Don't waste the ink on the paper. Don't do that to yourself. If you got a bad attitude employee, you got corrosion happening in the dealership slowly. Then it starts leaking. Then you say, where the corrosion come from? Where the leakage come from? Or it came from the young man that you hired that's got a bad attitude that set everybody off. Cut it out. It's cancerous. Crabs in the bucket. Want to pull everybody back down. No, you can't have bad attitude people around you. These people will destroy what you're trying to build. This is just to all GMs and dealers. You walk around, you do a checkup. You sit down and talk to your people. Do a checkup. And, read your dealer raters. Read those. Read the customer comments. And then have a one-on-one with this person. And see, you can see what a bad attitude is. Okay? If you say the wrong thing, you want to know a bad attitude? Let me tell you a bad attitude person. Shortchange him a little bit on his check. And see how he act. If he comes unglued, if he don't have the words to say, hey man, Mr. Holmes, y'all shorted me on my check. Can we take a look at that and get that right? That's a person that I know if he's sitting in front of a customer, that the customer has a bad attitude, he can know how to handle a bad attitude person. But if he comes off hostile, hey, y'all got my check all messed up. Why y'all do that? That's a bad attitude person. He's going to eventually hurt you somewhere down the line with your customers that you pay almost $100,000 a month to get these customers in here, and you got a potential person that could make you in a day, let's say he makes a great week, in a week, he's going to make what, $1,200, $1,500, but he just blew out $100,000 in your investment. That is not a great return in an investment. It is not a great return in an investment. And for the people that own dealerships, run dealerships, all the dealer is looking for, owners looking for is an ROI, the return in an investment. That's all. And great attitude people. But you guys have to be involved too. You have to be involved as well as the sales managers. The 30-car salesperson has to be involved. They can spot a rat. They can spot a person that's trying to get through just to get through. Bad attitude. Get them out of your dealership. Get them out. I'm passionate about having the right people. It's hard. You might have to go through, in a year's time, you might have to go to 20 or 30 to get the right people. But get the right people. Get the right, invest. Invest in the right questions in the interview. Invest in more than one person in an interview. More than one manager sitting down with them in an interview. Invest. Invest in your return in investment. 2 steps. First 2 steps to the 21st century, opening up doors in the car selling. The first 2 steps. Very important steps. Easy steps. You want to keep the robots out the stores? Get those 2 steps right. You want them in the store? You want them in the store? Keep messing those 2 steps up. They coming, but we can hesitate. We can put a slowdown on them, or we can completely cut them out. That's what you do to people that are not on time and bad attitudes. You cut them out. George Holmes III, 21st century car seller, opening up doors. See you next week with the next 2 steps.